Hi everyone, let's go through my medium time frame and low time frame scenarios in this video, starting with the bullish scenario on the medium time frame where the low of the bear market is in. This move to the upside is a yellow wave 1 and we would now be looking for a yellow wave 2 before then a big wave 3 to the upside. The fibs that you see over here, the 1.236 and the 1.618, is the most common target for a wave 5 in green over here, pulled from the high of 3 to the low of 4. And as you can see, we have been ranging over here for a while, hitting the high time frame range value area low as important resistance, and we might now be looking for more downside. The trading setup of this scenario was entering these shorts over here, stop loss safely above, and then we would be looking for downside of this wave 2 with the most common targets between the 0.5 and the 0.786, which is basically between 21.4k and 21.7k. After this, we would then be looking for the upside within a potential trade, of course, to the long side, where longs can be laddered over here, stop loss below the low, and then trading it to the upside. However, one should take into account that the trade over here is exactly the same for the bearish scenario, where we have a WXY with the Y targets being much deeper between, let's say, 13 to 9k. And in this scenario, inside X, we have an expanded flat ABC within this C wave, a 5-wave structure with exactly the same target, exactly the same potential trading setup. The only difference now is that if this is a potential trading setup to the downside, as it is, then instead of the targets for wave 2 over here, one can extend this trade all the way to the downside for a much bigger swing trade. In this scenario, wave Y should be a 3-wave structure, and of course, once again, it will take at least the low over here that we made, and a couple of fib times on the chart is that this wave Y could be finished between, let's say, the start of August and the end of October. If we now go to the low time frame scenarios, as quite a lot has happened actually over the past couple of days now, we have the following going on. The first scenario I like to show you is the very bearish scenario, where in this scenario the end of wave 5 is made over here after some sort of an ending diagonal. Not the cleanest ending diagonal, but in this scenario we just name it an ending diagonal. Then we have a wave 1, a 3-wave 2, and eventually looking for much more downside. Now this wave 2 did go to the rare target, which is the 0.886 fib, as you can see on the chart. This wave 1 is also not very clean, some sort of a leading diagonal, but it's actually not valid. Also a 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 impulse is actually not valid, as wave 3 is not long enough. But in this scenario, we call this a 1, this a 2, and then we would expect a very impulsive move to the downside with volume increasing. We did have a little bit of a volume spike over here in this potential very low time frame 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 wave, and then the wave 4 retraced to the 0.5 fib, taken from this very small 2 over here to this 3. Now this is an important level because for a wave 5 now we would expect to take the lows over here. But if we would move to the upside and close candles above this level first, then this impulse over here is kind of invalidated. Now the minimum targets for this scenario is definitely more downside, with the first real target box that I have as support sitting at basically 24.85k all the way to 24.4k. If we go to the second scenario, it doesn't look very nice for the bulls, gotta be honest. In this scenario, and I'll turn the targets off, we have basically the yellow high time frame wave 1 ending over here, wave 2 ending over here, which I already don't like because in my opinion wave 2 in the high time frame in this scenario is too short. But then we have a 1, 2 and then another 1, 2 scenario before we expect a lot more upside. However, with this scenario, price has been moving to the upside, volume has been going down. Now volume is increasing over here to the downside, which is not what you want to see. Wave 2 over here just missed out on the 0.382, which is already a rare target for wave 2. So this is kind of like, very, very rare, let's say, and not nice to see. And then in this scenario, so far, if this is a wave 1 and this is a wave 2 now is taking a very, very long time, which is also very rare to see. So this scenario definitely not preferred. Then we have this scenario over here, which also now is not that preferred anymore. We had a nice little bit of a trade, taking some profit here, stop loss break even, all good. But now we have this as a W, we had this as an X, and then this as a 3-wave in the Y. But as mentioned in my morning video, there's one important thing happening on the chart, and that is that this structure over here looks to be very impulsive. And if we then look at this scenario, then if this is an impulse to the downside, then this structure over here has to be an impulse as well in a WXY, or in this scenario, by the way, in ABC, as it would be a 5-3-5 move before then moving to the upside. And this is still possible, because then we have this scenario over here, where this then is a 5-wave move in an A, followed by a 3 in B, and then another 5-wave move in a C, with the most common target between the 1 and the 1.236, which is basically between 26.4k and 26k. So this is quite an important level, because we basically have 3 options at the moment. Either price goes to the upside without taking this low. That would be quite bullish, and one can expect the double top that we have over here to be taken out. The second scenario is that this indeed is a WX and then a 3-wave in the Y, ending somewhere maybe over here, wicking inside this area before then moving to the upside. Gotta be honest, besides these fibs over here and a little bit of a range with the low that we have, there is not too much support in this area. So if we don't see a move to the upside, the bearish scenario is starting to get into place, where if we go down in more volume, the target box for me is the first support area that we have. Now, if you then go to the very, very low time frame, the micro time frame, of course, the lower we go, guys, please take this into account, the less reliable Elliott waves become. But I just wanted to have a little look on what might be happening on the very low time frames. Of course, we can move down. By the time this video is online and you're watching it on the micro, probably stuff has already played out, because this is so low time frame, like 5-3 minute type of stuff. But in this scenario, we had a like 3-wave move over here in a W, and then this range over here. Now this range at the moment is not actually a very bearish sign, though. Like, of course, if it is like an ending diagonal in a fifth, it might be, but it doesn't look to be an ending diagonal. It looks more corrective in, let's say, a W, like a WXY. Or I should say a W, an X, and then a Y, with inside the X another corrective structure. So it would be nice on the very low time frame that after this W we have this X over here retracing to the 786 at the moment, and then moving to the upside to take the double top that we have over here. Now if we go to the lower time frames and you're asking what's this white box, as actually very nice, we move to the upside, that would be brilliant. Then the white box is basically, you can call it a breaker. Like, this was the last little bit of, like, the last few bullish candles before the drop, the low was made and then up. And these candles can act as support. So that's why I have marked a white box basically on my chart, which represents these candles as basically the final support that we have. So in my opinion, on the very micro low time frame, it would be pretty nice if this is a 3-wave move. Then this looks to be a very corrective channel in like a WXY, maybe a WXYXZ, before then moving to the upside, take some liquidity, and then of course we'll take it from there. I hope this video was helpful or valuable to you. I'd like to thank you for watching and subscribing, and I will see you at the next one. Bye bye.